Hello students, myself Dr. Ranjita Sinha, Assistant Professor in the Department of Basic Science and Humanities, Physics Section, Asansol Engineering College, going to present the topic named diffraction. This is the first lecture on diffraction. Subject name is Physics 1. Subject code is BSPH 101/201. This is under MACOUT syllabus. This is in module 2 optics. My contact detail is ranjita.phy@acwb.edu.in. Course outcome of module 2. After the completion of the course, the students will learn to explain interference, diffraction and polarization of light. Students can state the basic principles of laser and the construction of different lasers. Now, wavefront. A wavefront is defined as the locus of all points which are in same state of vibration, that is in the same phase. The shape of the wavefront depends on the shape of the light source. Based on the shape of the wavefront, it can be classified into three main categories. That is spherical wavefront, cylindrical wavefront and the plane wavefront. In spherical wavefront, this wavefront is produced by a point source of light. It is because locus of all such points which are equidistant from the point source lie on the surface of a sphere. So this is the spherical wavefront. Next, cylindrical wavefront. Now for cylindrical wavefront, when the source of light is linear in shape, such as a slit, the cylindrical wavefront is produced. Here, all the points equidistant from the linear source lie on the surface of a cylinder. This is the cylindrical wavefront and this is for the line source. Now this is the plane wavefront. A small part of a spherical or cylindrical wavefront originating from distant source will appear as a plane wavefront. So here the source is at infinity, that we are considering for plane wavefront. Now the definition of diffraction. When waves encounter obstacles or openings, they bend round the edges of the obstacles. If the dimension of the obstacles are comparable to the wavelength of the waves, the bending of waves around the edges of an obstacle is called diffraction. Distinction between now interference and diffraction. In interference, two separate wavefronts originating from two coherent sources superpose at a point on the screen. In diffraction, secondary wavelets originating from different parts of the same wavefront superpose. The width of the interference fringes may or may not be equal. The diffraction bands are never of equal width. All bright fringes have the same intensity, and the intensity of the bright band usually decreases with the increase of the order number. All dark fringes have zero intensity. The dark band is not zero in diffraction. So this is the basic difference between interference and diffraction of light. Now the classification of diffraction. The diffraction phenomena can be divided into two main cases: Fresnel type of diffraction and Fraunhofer class of diffraction. In Fresnel class of diffraction, either source of light or the screen or both are at finite distance from the diffraction aperture or obstacle. The wavefront in Fresnel class of diffraction is either spherical or cylindrical. In Fraunhofer class of diffraction, the source of light and the screen are effectively at infinite distance from the diffraction aperture or obstacle, and the wavefront is plane wavefront. This is Fresnel type of diffraction is shown, and here Fraunhofer type of diffraction is shown. In Fresnel type of diffraction, the source of light or the screen or both are at finite distance from the narrow slit. The incident wavefront is either spherical or cylindrical, and no lenses are used in this case. But here in Fraunhofer type of diffraction, the source of light and the screen, this is the screen, are effectively at infinite distance from the narrow slit. So both the incident and emergent wavefronts are plane wavefronts. In the laboratory, this type of diffraction is done by placing the source of light at the focal plane of a convex lens. This is the first convex lens. Source of light is placed on the focal plane of the convex lens. And the diffracted wavefront is brought on the screen with the help of another convex lens. And this screen, it is placed on the focal plane of this convex lens. Fraunhofer diffraction is much simpler than the Fresnel type of diffraction. Now we are going to calculate intensity of single slit diffraction. Let a plane wavefront of monochromatic light of wavelength lambda be incident normally on a narrow slit AB of width B. So AB is the narrow slit, or it has width B, placed perpendicular to the plane of paper. We have to calculate the intensity distribution due to the diffraction on the screen X and Y placed at the focal point of the lens L. So screen is placed on the focal point of the length L. We assume that number 1, each point on the slit is a source of secondary wavelets. Interference takes place between the wavelets originating from two such secondary sources. And the second point, that is slit, consists of a large number of point sources which are equispaced. If delta is the separation between the 2 point sources A1, A2, A3 in this way, then B equal to n minus 1 into delta, where n is the number of point sources. So here we are considering different point sources, that is A1, A2, A3, etc. So the distance between A1 and A2, that is delta. Between A2 and A3, it is delta. So if there are n number of point sources, so the slit width, it is written as n minus 1 into delta. As the point P on the screen is at a large distance from the slit, so the point P is at a large distance from the slit, the amplitude of the secondary waves from A1, A2 will be nearly same. If the diffracted rays from A1 and A2 makes an angle theta with the normal to the plane of the slit, then the path difference between them is A2 dash equal to delta sine theta. So A2 dash equal to delta sine theta. A1, A2 is delta and this angle is theta. So this angle is again theta. So A2 dash equal to what? Delta sine theta. So this is the path difference between the two rays. So the corresponding phase difference will be phi equal to 2 pi by lambda into delta sine theta. 2 pi by lambda into path difference. Now the field at P due to the disturbance from A1. So the field at P due to the disturbance from A1, it is E1 equal to E10 sine omega t. Similarly, the field at P due to the disturbance from A2, A3 up to AN, that is E2 is the disturbance due to A2, E3 that is disturbance due to A3 point. Now here E2 equal to E10 sine of omega t plus phi. En equal to E10 sine omega t plus n minus 1 into phi. So this is the expression of E1, E2 and up to En. The total electric field is the sum of each individual contribution. E equal to E1 plus E2 plus dot dot En. That is equal to E10, that is sine omega t, then sine omega t plus phi, then sine omega t plus n minus 1 into phi. So this is, we are putting it as equation number 1. Now using the property cos of A minus B minus cos of A plus B, we know the formula, that is 2 sine A sine B. Now we simplify the term this using writing like this. So what we are writing, 2 sine omega t sine phi by 2. So sine omega t is, let it is A and phi by 2 is B. So sine A sine B equal to what? Cos of A minus B minus cos of A plus B. So this is A, this is B. So A minus B is omega t minus phi by 2 and cos of this, and then minus of cos of A plus B. So A plus B means omega t plus phi by 2. So cos of omega t plus phi by 2. In the second line, 2 sine of omega t plus phi into sine of phi by 2. So sine A sine B. So cos of A minus B, so omega t plus phi minus phi by 2. What is we have? Omega t plus phi by 2. So here omega t plus phi by 2 with cos, then minus of cos of A plus B. So A plus B means omega t plus phi by 2. So phi plus phi by 2, that is 3 phi by 2. So it is here. So in this way the third one is written. And the last one is also written in this way. That is 2 sine omega t plus n minus 1 into phi, that is sine into sine phi by 2. So 2 sine A into sine B. So again the same formula, cos of A minus B minus of cos of A plus B. Now what we are doing, we are taking the sum. So if we take the sum, cos of omega t plus phi by 2, here this is minus and this is plus term. So this term and this term cancels. Again omega t plus 3 phi by 2 minus and this plus. This two term cancels. In this way many terms will cancel, and here the term that will remain, cos of omega t minus phi by 2, and the last term, that is cos of omega t plus, and here the last term is here, that is cos of omega t plus n minus half phi, that is this this term will, last term will exist. So this is the term. So this is the first term and this is the last term. So it is written first term and last term. And here in this side, if we take the sum, then 2 sine phi by 2, it is the common term. So putting it in the front, what remains? Sine omega t plus sine omega t plus phi, sine of omega t plus 2 phi. In this way, this is the sum. Now we can write, that is this 2 sine omega t plus n minus 1 phi by 2 into sine of n phi by 2. So 2 sine A sine B. So again the same formula, cos of A minus B minus cos of A plus B. So we are writing it in this way, taking it A and taking it B. So cos of A minus B, if we write, then omega t minus phi by 2 we will get, and if we write it cos of A plus B, we will get this term. So combining these two, so we have the expression of sine omega t plus sine omega t plus phi plus sine of omega t plus n minus 1 phi, that this equal to sine of n phi by 2 divided by sine phi 2, then sine of omega t plus n minus 1 phi by 2. So this is the expression that we have. Now the same expression we have written again, because this is the new slide. Now the total electric field then becomes E equal to E1 plus E2 plus up to En. So E10 inside the bracket sine omega t plus sine of omega t plus phi plus dot dot up to sine of omega t plus n minus 1 into phi. So E equal to what? E10 into sine of n phi by 2 divided by sine phi by 2, then sine of omega t plus n minus 1 phi by 2. Now what we are considering, n tends to infinity, then delta tends to 0, then n delta tends to b. We know the expression of b slit width, that is equal to n minus 1 into delta. If n equal to infinity, then we can neglect this one. So n delta equal to b. So we can write this. Now we are finding out the value of n phi by 2. That is equal to what? N by 2, then phi. Phi equal to what? 2 pi by lambda into delta sine theta. Phase difference equal to this. Now n pi delta sine theta by lambda. Now here what we can write? Pi b sine theta by lambda. So pi b is n delta. This n and delta is written as b. So pi b sine theta by lambda. And we are taking it as beta. Again we can write phi by 2 as half into phi. Phi means 2 pi by lambda delta sine theta. So we are writing it pi delta sine theta by lambda. If we multiply numerator and denominator by n, then it is n lambda. And again here n delta equal to what? B, that is pi b sine theta by n lambda. And here again pi b sine theta by lambda is our beta. So it is, we can write this as beta by n. So phi by 2, that we can write it as beta by n. Now when n is very large, then phi by 2 tends to 0. And sine phi by 2 tends to phi by 2. That is sine theta equal to theta, like this. So sine phi by 2 equal to phi by 2. Now the expression of E equal to E10 sine of n phi by 2 divided by phi by 2. Then sine of omega t plus n minus 1 into phi by 2. That is equal to E10. Then n phi by 2 is our beta. So sine beta, and phi by 2 is beta by n. So E10 sine beta by beta by n, then sine of omega t plus beta. Now E equal to E10. Then what we are getting? Sine beta by n, sine of omega t plus beta. Now n, if we put here, then n E10, then sine beta by beta, sine of omega t plus beta equal to, we are writing this term as A, then sine beta by beta, sine of omega t plus beta. So this is the expression of. Now the same expression we have written again here, that is E equal to A sine beta by beta, sine of omega t plus beta. Therefore, the intensity distribution on the screen due to the diffraction at single slit is given by I equal to I0 sine squared beta by beta square. This is equation number 4. So I0 equal to A square, that is n square A square. This is the intensity at beta tends to 0. So this is our intensity distribution formula, that is I equal to I0 sine square beta by beta square. And here A equal to I0 equal to A square, that is n square A square. Now we will discuss the condition of maxima and minima. The condition of principal maxima. When theta tends to 0, beta, that is equal to pi b sine theta by lambda, that tends to 0. And then what happens? Because why beta tends to 0? Because theta tends to 0 means sine theta is also 0, so beta tends to 0. Now limit beta tends to 0, sine beta by beta, the value is 1. Now from equation 4, we can write, if beta tends to 0, then we can write I equal to I0. So for principal maxima, for beta tends to, this is beta, so beta tends to 0, I becomes I0. So this is the condition of principal maxima. Now the condition of minima. The intensity I will be 0 when sine beta equal to 0, that is beta equal to plus minus m pi, where m equal to 1, 2, 3 in this way. So beta means pi b sine theta by lambda. So beta means pi b sine theta by lambda. That is equal to what? Plus minus m pi. So from here we can write b sine theta equal to m lambda. Because pi cancels, so b sine theta equal to this m into lambda. This is the condition of minima. That is, what is the condition of minima? That is the here beta equal to plus minus m pi. If we put m equal to 1, then beta equal to what? Plus minus pi. So here minima is here and minima is here. So beta for the first here, that is beta equal to pi plus pi and beta equal to minus pi. This is the minima. And for m equal to 2, we are getting plus minus 2 pi. So plus minus 2 pi, this is the 2 pi and this is minus 2 pi. So again here one is minima is there. So for beta plus minus 2 pi, we are getting plus pi, plus minus pi, plus minus 2 pi in this way. So this is the condition of minima. And this is secondary maxima, which I am discussing later. So this is the secondary maxima. This is the minima and this is the principal maxima. Now the condition of secondary maxima. I equal to, if we have proved I0 sine square beta by beta square. So if we take the differentiation di by d beta, that is equal to I0 2 sine beta cos beta by beta square minus 2 of sine square beta by beta cube. Now applying the theory of maxima and minima, di by d beta equal to 0 if then 2 sine beta cos of beta by beta square minus sine beta by beta cube, that is equal to 0. So if sine beta may be 0 or this bracketed term may be 0. So if sine beta equal to 0, cos beta by beta square minus sine beta by beta cube, that is equal to 0, or beta minus tan beta equal to 0. So we can get that beta equal to tan beta. Now calculating d2i by d beta square and putting all these conditions, we get positive value of d2i by d beta square for sine beta equal to 0. Supports the minima, and the negative value of d2i by d beta square for tan beta equal to beta supports the maxima. So here the secondary maxima is shown here. So this is the first secondary maxima, this is the second secondary maxima. So this is principal maxima and these are the minima that we have already discussed. Next, the graphical method for finding the position of secondary maxima. Now tan beta equal to beta is a transcendental equation and we solve it graphically. We plot y equal to tan beta and y equal to beta. So in this graph, what we have plotted, y equal to beta, and here this is the y equal to tan beta. These two graphs we have plotted. And the intersection point that gives the position of the secondary maxima. So here we are considering this is the y equal to tan beta graph, and here this is the y equal to beta graph. So intersection point is this, and here the beta value is 1.43 pi. Again 2.46 pi is another value. So this is the y equal to tan beta graph, and here it is the y equal to beta graph, and this is the intersection point, and here the beta value, here in this point the beta value is 2.46 pi. So taking beta tends to 0, nearly equal to 0, beta 3 pi by 2, 5 pi by 2, for all practical purposes, we can find out the magnitudes of the intensity of the principal maxima, that is I0, then secondary maxima, that is I1, then I2, and so on. So for the principal maxima, theta equal to 0. So beta equal to 0, then I equal to I0. Now for the secondary maxima, beta equal to 3 pi by 2. If we put beta equal to 3 pi by 2, we know the expression I1 equal to I0 sine square beta by beta square. That is equal to I0 sine 3 pi by 2 whole square by 3 pi by 2 whole square. So what is the value? The value is I0 by 22. Now for the secondary maxima, beta if we put 5 pi by 2, then I2 equal to I0 sine square beta by beta square. So if we calculate the value of beta with 5 pi by 2, then we are getting, that is I0 sine 5 pi by 2 square by 5 pi by 2 square, that we are getting as I0 by 61, and so on. So now we can find out the ratio between I0, I1, I2, I3, and so on. So if we take the ratio I0 is to I1 is to I2 is to I3, that is equal to 1 is to 1 by 22 is to 1 by 61 is to 1 by 121. In this way it will go on. So here we have in this graph, this is the principal maxima, these are the minima, and these are the secondary maxima. For beta equal to 1.43 pi, beta equal to 2.46 pi. But in all practical purposes, we are taking it as 3 pi by 2, 0, 3 pi by 2, and 5 pi by 2 value of beta. And here at last what we have calculated, the ratio between the intensities of the principal maxima, secondary maxima, first secondary maxima, then secondary maxima, that is I2, I3. In this way we can find out the value, and it is given as 1 is to 1 by 22 is to 1 by 61 is to 1 by 121 and so on. So these are the reference books. The textbook on light, B. Ghosh and K.G. Majumdar. Optics by Ajoy Ghatak. Principle of Optics, Max Born. Emil Wolf. Fundamental of Optics, Jenkins and White. So these are the very good books of optics, and students can follow these books for this chapter diffraction, and these books will be very helpful. And in my next class, what I will discuss the double slit diffraction. But before ending of my class, I want to summarize what I have discussed today. That I have started from the wavefront, that is 3 types of wavefront: spherical wavefront, cylindrical wavefront and plane wavefront. Then I have discussed the difference between interference and diffraction, the definition of diffraction. Then we have discussed the intensity distribution of single slit diffraction, and before that we have also discussed the difference between Fresnel type of diffraction and Fraunhofer diffraction. And then intensity distribution for single slit distribution, we have discussed the intensity of the principal maxima and the minima, the condition of minima, the condition of principal maxima and the secondary maxima. By graphical method, we have solved the positions of the different maxima and minima, and we have calculated the intensity values of this intensity values of the principal maxima, I0, I1, I2 in this are secondary maxima. So here today, after this that we have discussed today. Next, thank you very much to all of you for listening my lecture. If any student has any query, then he or she can contact to my official email ID, which I have already given in my first slide. So again, thank you very much for listening my lecture.